Hello everyone, I'm going to be starting a series on learning a object-oriented programming in C++. And now, before I even dig into the object-oriented programming, I assume you have some understanding of C++, you have some syntax knowledge in C++, and you have pretty strong fundamental of procedural C++. So if you do not possess those qualities, I don't think this is for you. So go and learn the procedural part of C++, and you can stick by it. So yeah, let's begin with our object-oriented thing. So basically, our object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm that focuses on an object. The main thing is an object, and all the things are based on the object. Okay? So you can get numbers of things within an object, and I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes. So, and the object we create, so basically we start an object with the prototype of an object. So we do not actually create an object, we create a prototype of it, and then we at last instantiate an object. So let's start it. So I'm gonna create an object. I'm gonna start object with the class. So we use class to start an object. So start with the class. And now I'm creating it outside the main function. This is because this something that we create outside the main function is accessible anyway in our whole code. Alright? I can even create it inside of here, but for some reason I'm creating it outside the main function, so I started with a class, okay, and the name of the class. So let's start with the real world thing. Let's start with something called friends, okay, and then the opening and closing curly brace, and we also close it with a semicolon. So class, starting with the class, name of the class in my case is friends, and opening and closing of a curly brace. And now what else is gonna be inside an object is the main thing. Inside this class, actually, not an object. It's at this point it's not an object, but it's just a class of a friend. Now what else is inside here? So inside the class, the main two things are, first one is the property, okay, property of the class, and the next one there is the method. Okay, first one is property and next one is method. And now property inside the class is a variable, so variable is equivalent to the property, and the function is equivalent to the methods. So I created a class called friends. Alright, and now I want to create a property of the friends. So let's say the name of the friends. I create a variable called string for the name of the friends. In my computer, for some reason, I need to write the std thing. Okay, if you are not using Xcode, you need not write this one. This is optional for you. And now I created a string of name inside the friends, which this thing here is a property. Okay, this is a property of this friend class, name of the friend. And moving on, let's also create a something called the age. Okay, fine. So I created two property of the friend, called first property is the name and the second property is the age. And now till now this is very simple program. And next thing is I also want to create a method. Okay, and as I said, method is a function inside the class. Let's call it method, and in here void and name of the function, let's say hello. So I created a method called hello, actually a function called hello, which in object-oriented programming is called a method, and it's just gonna say hello. Okay, suppose let's say cout, and let's say hello, I am name, and I am age years old. So alright, I actually have a problem here. Okay, I think it's alright. And for some reason, again, my computer is asking me to use the std thing. And here as well, the same std thing. There we go. So what I did is I created a property of the class, and then I created a method in the class. So property is a variable and method is a function, and the method is what the class is gonna do. In this case, it's just gonna print something called hello, I am blah blah blah, and I am blah blah years old. And now, okay, this is a class. Our class is complete now. Okay, our class is finished. But now we've never talked about the object. So where is the object? Well, actually, this is a class, and now we need to create a new object of the class. This is what we call instantiating a class. So instantiating a class is equivalent to creating a new object. So instantiating class means creating a new object. Now we can do this inside the main function. So for that, I access the class. So in this case, the class is friends. So access the same class. So friends is the class that I access. Okay, because I need to create a new class from this class. We need to instantiate this class, and I give a new name for it or create a new object of the class. And let's say a class is called male. And now, so a class, I instantiated this and set it to be male, which means the person, my friends, is just gonna be male. That's right. And now there are two properties here, name and age, and I'm gonna access this thing. So how do I do it? So now I no need to write the friends class once again, because I already instantiated it to be a male. Okay, so I just write male and dot is used to access something, male dot name. So to access a property, we use a dot specify, and then let's give a name. Let's start it to be Stanley. Alright, I first of all, this is a class, and then I instantiate class. I instantiate it with a new object that is a male, and I said male.name, and it's actually giving me an error. Let me see what it is. Name is private. Now here's the thing. It says name is a private member of friends. Now in object-oriented programming, there are three things: private, public, and protected thing. So don't worry about all of those things, but at this point it says this is a private. Now by default, a class and by default something inside a class is private. So which means we cannot access it outside the class. So it cannot be even accessed in order to instantiate a new class, because by default is private. So private is by default, okay, and we cannot access this thing. See, we cannot access the name because it's private by default. By default, this is the code. So I need to change this to be a public, which means I can access anywhere in the program, and now the error is gone. So I set it to be public, which means I can access it anywhere within our program. I said the name of my friend to be Stanley, and let's say again the male dot. I also have an age integer declared, so let's say age, and let's say this to be suppose 17. Okay, now when I print this, suppose now when I see the output at this point, nothing is shown. Now why is nothing shown? I give the name and age for this class for the object of mail, but I do not see the output. Now the main reason which I do not see the output is I did not reference this method. Okay, actually never say to output something inside this method. So for that, I'm just gonna access the method from the class. Actually, I've already changed the class to be an object of mail, and now what I do is mail dot name of the method, that is hello. And see, I have a the opening and closing of round bracket. This is what we do for a function actually, yes, and I access the method. In this case, this is inside the method, so this is going to be accessed. And now what if I now run this now and see, I see hello, I'm Stanley and I'm 17 years old. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And now this is just a single instantiation, so I can even instantiate it multiple times. Let's do it. So let's call friends, and in this case let's call it to be female. Now I instantiate it to be an object of male, and now an object of female. And now let's say female dot name equals Stella, and female dot age is gonna be equal to, let's say, 22. And now I actually need to embed it inside our method, that is the method is hello. So how we do it is by the object dot method, that is hello, and hopefully it is gonna print out first is this whole thing, and it's also gonna print out this thing within this COR function. So let me check this out and see, I see two of them. So this is the beauty of a object-oriented programming. We can manipulate everything based on a single thing. See, I even instantiate it to be a multiple thing. First one is the male and second one is the female, and we gave everything, that's every property that's required, and we outputted it within a single code. So this is the beauty of object-oriented programming. Now let's recap what we did. First thing is we started by creating a class called friends, and as I said, by default it is private, so when I remove this public we cannot access this. So, and now inside the class there is a property for class. Now property is a variable, but think of him as a property within object-oriented programming, okay? And also I write a method for the class, which in our case the method is a function, and a function is a simple cout function here to print something, okay? And then the class is closed and class is being instantiated outside. So outside the class I instantiate it. So for instantiation I access the main class name, this is the class name, and I gave a new name for it, that is here male, and I said I used the property for it. So mail.name, the property of name here, which is a string, and I set it to be Stanley, and name.age, which is integer property, and the age is 17, and then I want to print it out from the method, so I access the method mail.hello. This is the method. So, and it's gonna print it out. I also declare multiple of them, so I again the friends class, and I create a new class, I instantiated a new one and did the same thing here, and it just outputs it. So this is the basic syntax of object-oriented programming. Now you may be wondering to see it inside a function, so let me cite a main function. So let me cut this one, and actually I'm gonna paste this inside here, and this is gonna work fine the way only I did it outside of it, because this is going to be accessed everywhere. So yeah, that's all about me from now. This is all about object-oriented programming, and this is the main basic syntax of a object-oriented programming. and hopefully I'll see you next. Thank you for watching.